This subject is one of the biggest and most heated debates in modern history, so much so that it has sparked revolutions, toppled empires, and shaken even superpowers: capitalism and socialism. For more than a century, these two systems were not just economic theories. They were massive ideological battles that divided societies and shaped nations. Behind every speech, every worker uprising, every economic crisis, and every proxy war lay this clash. But there's something no one says. None of these systems ever worked the way the books claimed. Not once, nowhere. And when things got serious, war, famine, inflation, collapse, the truth appeared in full clarity. Welcome to Economics and History. In this place where money, power, and history collide, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. The story actually begins long before words like capitalism or socialism existed. For most of human history, economy simply meant a struggle for survival. Kings claimed to be chosen by God, landowners controlled everything, and the people worked just to avoid dying of hunger. Life was slow, there was almost no progress, and wealth came only from land, labor, and war. The idea that an ordinary person could become rich through trade or inventions was unimaginable. Then something happened. The Industrial Revolution shook the world. In the late 1700s, Britain was like a boiling cauldron of power. Machines replaced human labor. Workshops were replaced by large factories. And for the first time in history, what we now call private capital became a real force. Individuals could invest, take risks, and own things on scales even kings couldn't imagine. Productivity exploded. Some people lived better than ever, while others fell into far worse conditions. Inequality grew at a pace never seen before. Cities were suffocating in filth. Children worked 12-hour days inhaling coal dust. Yet despite all the horrors, one thing was clear: capitalism produced more goods, more speed, and more wealth than history had ever seen. And that's precisely when socialism was born, not as a dream but as a scream, a reaction to the brutality of capitalism. By the 1800s, thinkers like Marx and Engels looked at factories, smoke, and struggling workers and concluded that the problem was the system itself. To them, the capitalist order was a structure built on exploitation. If workers shared ownership, shared the profit, and if factories operated based on human needs, society would be more just. It sounded convincing, especially to the millions crushed by the gears of capitalism. But theory is one thing, real life is another. The world first tried to implement socialism, not because of a class debate, but because an empire collapsed. In 1917, after the revolution, Lenin inherited a ruined country. The system had fallen apart. The elites had fled or been executed, and suddenly a nation of 150 million people had to build a new order. The Soviets did it. Land, factories, banks, all owned by the state. Bureaucrats set prices. Production targets replaced profit motives. Private enterprise was abolished. In theory, it was supposed to create perfect equality. In practice, it created chaos. Without market prices, no one knew how much to produce. Without competition, there was no innovation. Without rewards, there was no motivation to work. Shortages became normal. People spent hours in lines. Agriculture collapsed. Even Lenin couldn't stand it and had to step back, allowing limited private trade. Yet something interesting happened. Despite all these failures, socialism still appealed to millions, because capitalism wasn't perfect either. In the early 20th century, capitalism created huge growth but also enormous instability. Speculation exploded. Monopolies took over markets. While the rich lived in palaces, most people fought hunger. The system created wealth but was terrible at distributing it. And this bubble burst in 1929, giving capitalism its worst crisis, the Great Depression. Unemployment reached 25%. Banks collapsed. Millions believed capitalism was deadly. By the 1930s, the world realized something. Neither system worked as promised. Socialism promised equality but produced shortages. Capitalism promised prosperity but produced collapse. Then history brought World War II onto the stage. This war tested every major system under maximum pressure. The Soviets, despite all inefficiencies, managed to mobilize at incredible speed. The US, meanwhile, showed how powerful state-private coordination could be, turning into a massive production machine. When the war ended, the debate was no longer measured by manifestos but by performance. From 1945 to 1991, the world became a laboratory. One side the Soviet bloc, the other side the West with regulated capitalism. The results were clear. The Soviets started fast but began to crumble. Without price signals, the economy started behaving absurdly. Innovation dried up. Factories made useless products. Consumer goods fell behind. By the 1970s, the USSR had become a nation that could build rockets but not a decent refrigerator. The West adapted. After the Great Depression, it added rules, social security, and regulations. Capitalism didn't become perfect, but it became functional. The system's advantage was its flexibility. By the 1980s, the gap was huge. The Soviet economy stalled, the West rose. In the end, the Soviets didn't lose with tanks, they lost with empty store shelves. A system created for equality ended up producing a new elite class. But capitalism's victory didn't last long. In the 1990s and 2000s, the system changed again. Finance grew, globalization accelerated, inequality soared once more. Then came the 2008 crisis, reminding the world that capitalism was still fragile. Meanwhile, socialism returned, not in the old Soviet form, but in a softer way. Free education, universal healthcare, wealth taxes. Especially younger generations began discussing these ideas again. But the distinction is now clear. Nobody wants pure capitalism or pure socialism anymore. Modern economies are already hybrid systems. Look at the Scandinavian countries, free markets but strong social protections. Look at the US, massive innovation but huge inequality. Look at China, a model we might call state-guided capitalism. From a distance, the truth is simple. Today, no major economy runs on a single ideology. They are all mixtures, because pure systems don't work in reality. Once human behavior enters the picture, greed, ambition, fear, laziness, creativity, no system can survive at 100%. In pure capitalism, greed creates innovation, then becomes exploitation. In pure socialism, equality creates unity, then turns into repression. In one system, power concentrates in wealth. In the other, in politics. Different systems, same human nature. The real question was, which system has the better tools to fix its own mistakes? History's answer is clear. The one that adapts survives. Capitalism survived because it adapted. Socialism collapsed where it couldn't adapt. Where it merged with market mechanisms, it succeeded. And in the next century, the winners will again be the flexible ones. Countries that combine the creativity of markets with the long-term planning of the state. The last 100 years taught us something simple. No system works without rails. No economy survives without incentives. And no society prospers when power or wealth becomes too concentrated. History didn't choose capitalism or socialism. History chose the mixture that best prevents collapse. And every generation must rebuild that balance. Because the debate was never really capitalism or socialism. The debate was always, who holds the power? Who controls the capital? Who controls the state? Who controls the companies, the banks, the parties? Because throughout history, one thing never changed. Power doesn't disappear. It only changes hands. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe. History is full of answers, and I'll show you exactly where to find them.